Here I got back out the Springfield Hellcat Pro. I've got equipped a TLR 7A flashlight on it. There's no other upgrades done to this handgun. It is equipped with a manual safety. As I mentioned before, I would not probably order it with a manual safety again. I'm going to do some more shooting without gloves now, and I'm going to be running a 125 grain 9mm NATO round. It's a little hot for most 9mm and will produce a little bit more recoil. And didn't lock back. There we do show it is clear, didn't lock back. I don't know if my thumb was riding the actual slide release there, which it could have been. I got a pretty decent grip on this handgun because of the recoil. We'll go down and see how the target looks. I tend to favor to the left when I shoot handguns. And as you can see, I am definitely pulling over to the left-hand side. Reuse the target from the Hellion. When I was shooting that, might as well, like, you know, get an idea as to where I'm shooting on paper. Looks like I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 out of the 15 rounds. I'm not sure where the other two would have went. Looks like one's right there. So I did miss the target at this range a little bit. 25 yards is what I'm shooting. I'm going to go ahead and transition over to the steel. Gives you a little bit better reaction as to sound when the target is impacted. All right, 25 yards. Do a quick mag change. Again, all you got to do, guess you can't see it from that side, hit your magazine, your slide release, I should say, and then you're ready to go. Two misses so far. Three misses. Four. Missing more than I'm hitting. And I'm out. Again, I don't know what's going on there. It is not locking the slide back. I don't know if that's me or what. I'm going to try to readjust my grip angle. See if I can't get it to actually stay open for a change. One easy way to do that is take your thumb and make sure it's sitting over your knuckle and not depressing against the slide. Had one there that surprised me. Missed. And finally got the slide to lock back. As I said, I'll take my thumb on my non-dominant hand and use that to rest against the takedown lever, and then I can put my other thumb up on top of that, keep it away from the actual slide stop, because if you're resting your thumb on that, I'm used to shooting a 1911 and I can rest it on the safety. Resting it over here, all it's going to do is keep that down and it will not lock the slide back. So at least that seemed to work on that magazine. That's my target. As you can see, definitely favoring off to the left on that, and a lot of it I was actually aiming over a little bit more favoring to the right, and I still hit quite a bit on the left hand side. What I need to come down here and brush this down with a steel wire brush and then repaint it, so that way I can get a better idea as to what I'm hitting. Alright, so that is the Springfield Armory Hellcat Pro. Features I believe it's a 3.8 inch barrel. It runs off a flush fit 15 round magazine. There is a 17 round magazine available for it. I did manage to get in on the gear up promotion that they had, so I got 2 additional 15 rounders and a nice little carrying bag, which I almost never use. I actually use it to store all my magazines. It is got the slide cut up there for an optic, and I will be putting an optic on it, much similar to the Hollow Sun EPS. I've got the full size there on a Springfield Echelon, and I want to put the carry model up here. Of course, I want to run the same. This model here is the what am I thinking? Solar panel model. That's what I want to. It's a standard one that's got the MRS, the multi-reticle system. So that is by Hollow Sun, and that is a Springfield Echelon. Now, as I mentioned before, I've got a TLR 7A flashlight that is mounted on this, and that is just a dual pressure pad. The nice thing they actually have on this is a lockout feature on the front that you can rotate the bezel, so that way if you do hit these, it won't function. So that way you're not wearing your battery down. Nice little option that's Streamlight put on their flashlight. Other than that, pretty much drop-free magazines. As I mentioned, it's got the thumb safety on, which trying to get to the thumb safety is not the easiest thing to do. I have a hard time when I'm gripping it, actually manipulating it. I have an issue where my thumb isn't grabbing it enough to actually take it off safety. So at that point, the safety is a moot point. There is no point even having it on there if you can't reach it. So definitely if you're out looking at handguns, make sure you look at that. Now, I bought this one online. I'd done a lot of research previously, and I had it held a lot of the regular Hellcats, and once I realized that they came out with a Pro model that has a longer grip, that was the option I went with. Now, I have been shooting for over 20 years now, so when it comes to firearms, handguns, I'm a little out of practice on handguns. Rifles, I haven't shot as much as I used to, so I'm getting a little bit out of practice on that too. But I mean, it is something that is a very perishable skill if you're not out there actually shooting regularly, keeping up with your fundamentals. It is something that is a kind of a learning curve to get back into. So always keep that in mind. Always keep a little bit of ammo stashed, so that way you've got a little bit of a kitty there to do any kind of just training and shooting with. And the best thing about handguns, rifles, shotguns, you name it, it gets you outdoors. And that's the major thing. Keeps you out of the house, gives you something to do. Go off to a range, indoor range, outdoor range. If you're lucky like I do, your family has property, so all your ranges are set up all pretty much. You're the only one using them. You don't have to deal with other people, which is a great thing in my opinion. So that way you can kind of go out, do your shooting, do your own thing, and kind of just enjoy the outdoors on a nice day like today. Nice 60, 62, 64 degrees out. Light to no light, wind. The other thing is I recommend is if you do shoot out on your own property like I do, I definitely recommend electronic hearing protection, because all of this property around me is all farm ground. Now, if you've got other people like I do that actually have all of the ground behind me is owned by somebody else. So that means I'm not sure where they're going to be at when I'm out shooting. So the best thing I like is electronic hearing protection, and you learn to find out what the sound of vehicles sound like. You know, tractors now have a really high-pitched whine to them when they're running. It doesn't sound anything like a car motor or anything. So you always be on the lookout for that, so that way you can keep an eye on what your background is and what's going to be behind where you're shooting at. Because like right here, completely obscured by trees and my target. So it's always a good idea to make sure you know exactly, as they say, what is beyond your target. So electronic hearing protection is definitely something you want to consider. That right there, that's what I'm talking about. They're out there doing their job, planting. You got that high-pitched whines, what you want to listen for. Be advised, because most new farm equipment, you're going to be surprised that that stuff is worth more than the house you live in. So keep that in mind wherever you are. Remember, they're out here to do their job to make you food. So keep that in mind too.